Welcome everyone to Rough Drafts, episode 6. I am your host, Josh, from Just Josh Productions. Today, my opponent is
Matthew from Just Matthew Productions.
Folks, today we got an interesting one for you. We are drafting music. We are drafting bands and solo artists. We're drafting the entire discography of said bands and solo artists. This is an interesting one because most things we're pretty similar on. This one we're pretty far apart on in a lot of ways. We're not going to be fully pulling from the same artist pool. It's going to kind of be more unique interests here.
Indeed, yeah. So I'm curious, like the ones that we do have in common, where they will fall.
Yeah. Before that, how did you feel about the public domain draft?
It was a lot of fun to do. I will say, when it comes time to make our holiday films, you've got the markets cornered on both ends of the year.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get pretty creative over at JMP. But outside of that, I think it was really fascinating because we were digging up all sorts of interesting things that I would have never even thought about. So
yeah, it was really cool. It was really creative, really fun to do. Something I would definitely like to do more of in the future if we didn't bleed that well dry. Something I was thinking about, if you're watching this right now and you're a fan of Rough Drafts, leave a comment. Just kind of say something. Say maybe what your favorite, thing that was drafted was. Just a little experiment. What should we call fans of Rough Drafts? Are they Rough Drafters? Are they ruffians?
Ruffians is pretty good.
Ruffians? What the people that don't listen are called?
What?
Draft dodgers. So
that was off the top, right? You didn't have that sitting around?
It was like 30 seconds ago when I was trying to think of what we should call them. I was like, we can call them draft dodgers. And then I thought,
wow. And that's a pretty steep name to have attached to you. So
I was about to say, do you want to be a draft dodger?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I would personally want to be a ruffian. So
yeah,
if you're a ruffian, drop a comment. If you're a draft dodger, then you're probably not listening, which is fair.
Not yet.
So that being said,
it's never too late.
No. That being said, you have first the luxury of going first this week. Who are you taking?
This one is actually one that we both enjoy quite a bit. There has been a little bit of a silent expectation between the two of us. I'll say that, a little bit of behind the scenes, wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
But the first band I would like to take, because they're most at risk, in my opinion, of the ones that I have written down, give me the Happy Fits for my first overall pick.
Yeah. So we talked about last week for the IP of life rights and stuff. I drafted the Beatles. Beatles are like my favorite thing ever. So you had said, because you wouldn't have the rights to do all the other stuff, you didn't want to draft them musically and out of respect for me. So for anyone like, why wouldn't you take like the Beatles first? That's why.
Yes.
Happy Fits were absolutely one that would be in my top 10, but similarly, I was like, you should probably be the one to take them. So,
but you were the one that introduced me to their music.
True, ago. Yeah.
So it's
sort of.
Always thankful for that. Yeah.
There's a song by the Happy Fits called, what is it?
So all right, cool.
All right, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. That I don't even know how I found. I just kind of found it. And when I was writing the second script that I wrote that we were trying to shoot at the time, this was 2022. That was always my goal for the credits song. That was like always what I wanted the needle drop at the end of the film to be. All right, cool, whatever. And but I'm very weird with my music habits, where some of my favorite songs of all time could not tell you who sings it and have never heard another song by those people.
That's right, yeah.
Because Spotify just throws me stuff, and what I like, I'll add, and I don't ever look at it again. I just listen to it all the fucking time. So that song and the Happy Fits were one of those. And then from there, you started listening to them.
Yeah. They have 4 studio albums out. They have an LP too. But their first studio album, Concentrate, is so good. It's so sharp. And every song has a unique identity. And it's one of the few albums that I think I picture or hear in my head as like a complete story. My music listening habits are not based out of albums most of the time, so that is unique for me. But their most recent album, Lovesick, is fantastic too. We actually got to see
So
them in
good.
concert a couple months ago. That was really fun.
That's the one I've
Um,
listened to the most because most of the songs we heard in concert were from that. But Cruel Power is like that overthrew All Right, Cool, Whatever for me is like favorite song.
it's fantastic. They're fantastic. I would love to see them again. But because of that, they've got 4 albums chock full of stuff that I need to use. So
Yeah.
that's who we're taking.
Yeah, no, and that is a great choice. Someone that I would have loved to have had, but my number one has to be the Beatles. It's no secret if you've known me since I was like 6 years old. Beatles are the goats. You know what can be said about the Beatles that hasn't already been said. Beatles Rock Band is one of my favorite games. A Hard Day's Night. It's one of the best movies. Across the Universe is another best movie. My favorite song of all time by the Beatles, or my favorite song of all time is by the Beatles. It's Two of Us, which is the opening song on Let It Be. And it was used in Project Hail Mary, which was fucking crazy for me sitting in theaters to have the emotional response that I was having to Project Hail Mary. And then for that song to start playing, that was like truly a chills. Like I got chills thinking about how crazy that was.
It was an experience for me because I was sitting next to you when that happened, and I knew what was going on in your head. That was really fun.
Yeah, because like you don't think about it, but like I was like, I've never heard my favorite song this loud before. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I've never heard it this loud before. So that was like truly
Yeah,
a mind blowing experience. But Let It Be is my favorite album. Yeah, so the Beatles are the goats for me. Number 2, though, and really it's a 1A and 1B situation, is
true. Yeah,
Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's my favorite solo artist. Dylan has more different eras in his own career than most people just have careers in general. It's like kind of crazy how different Dylan's eras and his albums go. My favorite Dylan, generally speaking, is like just go like before he goes electric, but around the beginning of it. Kind of 65, 64, 65, 66 Dylan. Favorite Dylan song is Mr. Tambourine Man. Queen Jane approximately is up there. Don't Think Twice, It's All Right is up there. So many Dylan songs that mean so much to me. And yeah, there's genuinely no 2 artists that I would want more than the Beatles and Bob Dylan. So
yeah, that was a great 1-2 punch. And so much to choose from, like you said, for both of those. The sky's the limit, and really beyond that. Okay, that leaves me with my second pick. I'm still in the mood or in the headspace of there's a few that I'm worried about disappearing that I kind of want. This band has a lot of depth to them. I think that it's one of the most cinematic bands of all time, at least in my head. Let's go Pink Floyd for number 2.
Funnily enough, I forgot to write Pink Floyd down.
I knew you weren't like a massive Pink Floyd person, but I thought this is a big band.
I'm a big enough fan that I should have written them down for my top 40, but I don't know what happened. I did not write them down.
Dark Side of the Moon, obviously, is a masterpiece. My parents love them, so they were just on all the time in my house growing up. But their music can be so ethereal and hypnotizing that I have to use it. I need it. So Pink Floyd, you're coming home with me.
Yeah, I mean, Time and Money are both too huge. Uncomfortably Numb is a huge Pink Floyd song. My favorite Pink Floyd is called the Thin Ice. Have you heard that one?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think it's one of their hits. Like I probably only would have heard it because it got thrown in the algorithm, 12 years ago. But yeah, it's called The Thin Ice. I don't know, something about it, like you said, they're so cinematic. Something about that song, especially to me, is quite cinematic. Okay, so my number 3 is another band. Probably their debut album is top 5 most iconic album covers of all time, designed by Andy Warhol with the yellow banana, the white background. I need the Velvet Underground, who I've been a fan of for a very long time. That album specifically, the Velvet Underground and Nico, is one of the greatest albums of all time. Maybe the greatest debut album of all time. Loaded is also another great album of theirs. Oh Sweet Nothing is my favorite Velvet Underground song. The guitar solo and the drums towards the end of that song, it's like 6 minutes in, is the most alive I've ever felt from music before. Truly, truly incredible band, incredible discography. So I will take Velvet Underground.
I love it. It's a band I could use more exposure to. I've tried a few times, and something about them intimidate me. I don't really know why. I think it's because it feels so weighty and emotional. But
yeah, there's well, they have a good like diversity amongst their discography, because some of it feels like it could fit in like Johnny B. Good and Back to the Future, like it's that type of music, and then some of it is like Slit Your Wrists in a Bathtub, emotional, and then some of it's like so like ethereal and like apocalyptic, like the Black Angel's Death song. Like there's a lot of shit that they have that is just so wildly across the musical genre.
I'm already having a tough time. I think
know this order is like,
let's go a little 90s. I think another band that's very cinematic to me, maybe that is the fault of the Batman, but I would love some grunge, so I would love some Nirvana to go along with it.
I didn't write Nirvana either.
Look, there's only 40. You had 40 down, I think, as your
yeah, but they would be like top 15. Like, I don't know why I didn't write them down. Like, I must have. I don't know, man. I looked at the wrong playlist. But it's a great pick, though.
The soul that band has is unmatched. I think Kurt and his voice in particular lends it such a raw power. Obviously, their MTV Unplugged performance is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need them. I think that whole grunge 90s scene is so fascinating to me too, and that part of the world, that part of the country.
Yeah. But no, Nirvana, I think probably the first time that I started listening to them was senior year of high school. We had a friend that was big on them, so just through that I started listening. Nevermind, of course, is like the gateway. Well, they only had 3 albums, right?
Yeah.
Nevermind, In Utero, and then whatever I don't know what the third one was.
I don't remember.
But Dave Grohl, and I think the dude's name is something Christ, and then
Chris. I remember.
And then Kurt Cobain. Oh Me is a huge one. Drain You has always been my favorite. Here She Comes Now, which is a cover of a Velvet Underground song, but I like the Nirvana version just as much. So yeah, that's a great pick. I wish I would have thought to write them down.
Scooped them up.
What a fucking idiot I am. Okay, so the top 5 on this are very easy for me of the 5 that I would want. So number 4, we're going to go with The Clash. Another probably one of the most iconic album covers of all time, London Calling, which is a parody, or not a parody, but it's like a satire of an Elvis Presley album cover. It's the pink and green letters, but originally it was Elvis Presley singing on stage, but the Clash version is him smashing the guitar, which is like one of the coolest visuals of all time.
Sick.
London Calling is, one of the greatest songs ever, the greatest albums ever. Some of my favorite songs: Police in My Back, Lost in the Supermarket, Train in Vain is my number 1. The Clash, another very cinematic band, another band that means a lot to me. That's what I'm rocking with here.
And I remember I saw the Clash version of that album cover first. So when I saw Elvis's, I thought, oh, that's funny. It's like the Clash, Clash album cover.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool stuff like that.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for one of my near and dears. I listened to this band a lot growing up. I think they have an argument for having made the most famous song of all time, or the most recognizable song of all time. And that can be attributed to the sports anthem that it's become. But I need the White Stripes.
Yep. I figured that was gonna be your pick, at least soon.
I am such a big fan of what they did together, Jack White and Meg White. She doesn't get the credit she deserves for what she does for drumming, what she did for songwriting for them. She's kind of just gone completely off the grid. She just lives a very private life now, which great for her. I miss her though. I would love to see them do something again. But Jack White, I think, is a genius. His guitar, his songwriting, I love his voice. But Elephant, which is one of their earlier albums, I don't know if it was their second or their third, is one of my favorites of all time. Might be my number one. But Seven Nation Army specifically, you can't deny how much that has permeated culture. There's people that have heard that probably have no idea what the name of the song is or who made it, but because of sports, it's just become something else. So
yeah, it's I heard it through sports the first time. I always just thought that was a sports chant. So like to me, well, and as someone who doesn't watch sports, I would have just assumed that. But like to change culture in such a significant way like that, to the point where you almost lose ownership of it. Because like you said, it's people that probably like might not have even heard of the White Stripes or know what that song is. I mean, that's crazy. That's a cultural impact that few artists have. I have not listened to that much of the White Stripes. They have a song in Silver Linings Playbook. Do you know which song that is? It plays at the end when they're in the dancing parlay competition, and then
I'll have to go back and find out which one.
In Inside Llewyn Davis, they did after Inside Llewyn Davis, they did a concert with a bunch of different artists to like celebrate the movie, and it was like Mumford & Sons and Oscar Isaac and Jack White did I Can Tell That We're Gonna Be Friends.
Oh, I love that one.
That is my favorite song just because I knew it from that, and that's like the only White Stripe song that I have saved, and it's a great song. So yeah, that's a good pick.
Good.
Rounding out my top 5, once again, if you know me, you know this, it's very predictable. The Ramones, another band that has just been hugely influential on my life and my tastes. Everybody knows Blitzkrieg Bop. That's like, another one of the most famous songs of all time. My favorite Ramones song, Bonzo Goes to Bitburg. It's in School of Rock, which I watched thousands of times as a kid. So that is like my gateway drug to the Ramones, that song in that movie. I Don't Want to Grow Up is another great song. It's Gonna Be Okay, or I guess It's Gonna Be All Right. That's another great song. Commando, that's a classic. So many different Ramones songs. I could go on and on, but yeah, that is my pick, the Ramones.
Yeah, and your style being so punk rock for those last two, I think is awesome because it's such a unique genre, and I love the historical significance of punk music and what it represents. And yeah, your last two bands really kind of drive that home.
Yeah, it's crazy because Beatles, Dylan, Velvet Underground, Clash, Ramones, like they're very different. They hold hands in a lot of different ways. And, there's did we talk about this? Do you know where they got the name Ramones from?
Yeah, it was it one of their like pseudonyms that they gave? It was Paul McCartney's pseudonym?
McCartney,
yeah, that he would give at hotels to like kind of hide it, who was staying there.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Which really interesting.
It's funny the way that like it can inform each other as they move on. So you're number 5.
Okay, well, I've kind of developed over the years an affinity for rock duos that are also color-coded in their name. The White Stripes being one of them. The other big one of my favorite bands of all time, would be the Black Keys. So that's who I'm picking as my number 5 to round out my top 5. I remember hearing for the first time in high school when one of our classmates showed me a song of theirs on Spotify when Spotify was like getting big, and I just dove completely in. At the time, they only had they had quite a few studio albums out at the time. It was like 2012, 2013 that this would have been, but they have such an authentic blues rock sound. And that comes from their own love of the blues influences from the 1940s and 50s and 60s. and it really shines through in all of their stuff. Brothers, I think, is one of the best albums of all time. It's probably my favorite of theirs. Attack and Release is great. Turn Blue is where they developed this like psychedelic rock influence. That's really hypnotic. If you see the album cover, it's literally like one of those hypnotic swirls. But I really love when they experiment with stuff like that, and they're still doing it. So there's plenty to choose from. But yeah, the Black Keys, one of my all-time faves. Got to put them in at least the top 5.
Yeah, if this weren't like a competition, like taking from each other, I would have expected them to be like your number 1.
Yeah.
So the only exposure I have to the Black Keys outside of you is we were probably 7th or 8th grade, but my brother used to listen to the album Brothers on the way to school. So that's like the only real time I've ever actually sat down and listened to them. So
and there's layers to that. Brothers, you were brothers. Like,
yeah.
It's there.
Funny how that works. Okay, so my number 6 band who I became a fan of towards the beginning of COVID, maybe a little bit before. A band that has the greatest concert film of all time, directed by Jonathan Demme, Stop Making Sense. I want the Talking Heads, who,
Smart.
like I said, become one of my favorite bands over the past few years. Psycho Killer is huge. This Must Be the Place is huge. For me, my favorite, Burn Down the House is great. One of the best letterbox lists of all time is movie titles that fit the cadence of Burn Down the House.
Okay.
My favorite song by them is Road to Nowhere. I think it's just an incredibly powerful song. And if you haven't seen Stop Making Sense, like I said, it's the greatest concert film of all time. A24 owns the distribution rights to it now. We got to see it in theaters a couple years ago, which was cool. But Spike Lee also made a concert film with David Byrne, who is the lead singer of Talking Heads, called American Utopia. And that came out in 2020. And that is like right up there with Stop Making Sense. So that's homework for any ruffians watching this show.
Absolutely. They're going to have a lot of homework here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. This will be my first solo artist, someone that I started listening to in high school when I was first picking up the guitar. And that's never a good idea because I think this person is probably the greatest guitarist to ever live. But I want Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix.
My number 6.
So I did remember to write Hendrix down.
Nice.
He was towards the bottom because I did figure you were going to take him. But The Wind Cries Mary is my number 1 Hendrix song. That is like
so good.
Yeah.
But the way that he's able to manipulate his guitar and the actual melodies that he was able to compose with his skill, and no one has been able to do since, and hopefully no one is able to in the future. He's literally like, when you watch him play on stage, he's physically bending the neck of his guitar to achieve certain pitches, and he just knew where to place the pressure, where to not, so instinctively and intuitively that I don't know how. And he was only 27 when he died, so he did all of that before age 30, and unfortunately we didn't get to see much after. But I gotta have him.
Yeah, the Are You Experienced, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, is one of the greatest albums of all time. All Along the Watchtower it was a Bob Dylan song that Jimi Hendrix covered so famously that Dylan says anytime he performs it, he considers it a tribute to Hendrix, and it's Hendrix's song. There's another story I remember. The day that Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the album, came out, Hendrix memorized learned how to play the song and played it that night at his concert, which is so sick and cool.
Truly insane levels of talent that it's so cool that that's what humanity is capable of, that there are some people that are just born with these unique abilities to just capture music in a way like magic.
Yeah. And then more homework for the ruffians, the film Jimmy Plays Monterey, That's a concert film worth watching. I believe that's the one where he sets the guitar on fire on stage. Go out of your way to watch that too. Okay, this might be a mistake going for this early, but I'm going to do it anyway. We talked about taking a solo artist that was also a part of a band and how that's kind of got to be separate. For me, it's almost inseparable, the Beatles and Paul McCartney. I have to take McCartney's solo stuff. I mean, maybe I'm amazed. Silly Love Songs, Band on the Run, Call Me Back, Let Me Roll It. There's so many incredible Paul McCartney songs. He doesn't get the due that he deserves as a solo artist. I think just because he's obviously the Beatles are the Beatles, but yeah, Sir Paul is someone that I will have to take the solo music of.
And still doing it, man. He and another like musical genius. The amount of instruments that he's able to play and his just level of understanding of his music and how it all works and it goes together like a puzzle is really, really cool to watch.
Yeah. They play every instrument like genius Paul McCartney is.
We're going into some more territory that I think you might also enjoy.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a solo artist that I remember hearing in high school for the first time. I would love to see his live stuff. I think I've heard nothing but great things about his live performance, but he has I can't remember the full name of the album at this point in time, but I'll just go ahead and say my number 7 overall pick is Hozier.
Ah, okay.
I think it's and all music is poetry in a way, but his really cuts to that definition. He's got such a way of combining his words and the melodies that they just belong together in a way that feels so special. And I think it's Wasteland? Wasteland,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah, Wasteland, baby, yeah.
That one I think has that full album is no skips. He's still doing it. There is like Real People Do. It is one of my favorites. I think that's so haunting. But yeah, he's on the team.
Yeah, Take Me to Church is probably his most famous one. Would That I is one that I like a lot. Jackie and Wilson.
Oh, Jackie and Wilson's great.
Yeah, Hozier's got a lot of good songs. There's also Just Mashed Lore that we won't go into, but
for those that know, you know.
Nobody knows. I was hoping you would take him for that reason.
I had to just for the reference.
Yeah, I'm a big Hozier guy. He was 33 on my list, but that is hilarious.
Incredible. It lives on.
One day I'll post the clip. Who knows?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah. In the same vein, just to be completely safe, same vein as Paul McCartney, I'm going to take George Harrison.
Yeah.
The other Beatle who has a solo career worth taking. All Things Must Pass, the greatest solo Beatle album for sure. Blows anything McCartney, Lennon, or Ringo did out of the water. And part of that is because most of All Things Must Pass was written while George was still in the Beatles. And he would say, hey, let's do this song. And they would say, no. And he's like, okay. And then he said, how about this fucking giant dick of an album? And, blew them all away with it. What Is Life is a great song. Beware of Darkness. It's a great song. Was just in Weapons at the beginning of Weapons. Phenomenal needle drop. Isn't That a Pity? Apple Scruffs, Wawa, Got My Mind Set on You. So many different George Harrison songs that are just phenomenal. So had to take George.
I love it. Okay. Yeah, this is a band I've loved for quite a long time. I think they have such an edge to their music. The Origin of Symmetry is a 10 out of 10, no notes perfect album for me. I want Muse. Number 8 pick.
Interesting.
They have such a dense catalog of songs that I listen to and picture movie scenes in my head when I'm listening to them.
Let me see what Muse songs I have saved.
I'm so bad with song titles from them, but they have a great.
Uprising is the
Oh,
only Muse
Uprising is
song I
incredible.
have saved.
Drones is another surprisingly good album of theirs, but I would give Origin of Symmetry a listen just all the way through. They have a good Nina Simone Feeling Good cover on there.
Oh, I've heard that in your car for sure.
But yeah, that if the more homework again, but yeah, gotta take them.
Okay. A band I've liked for a long time now. My fandom has really grown over the past 2 years, specifically. That is the Magnetic Fields. I don't know that there's been a day in my life the past 4 or 5 years that has gone by where I haven't listened to a Magnetic Fields song. Come back from San Francisco, Andrew and Drag. Let's see, 100,000 Fireflies, Luckiest Guy on Lower East Side. There's so many different Magnetic Field songs that I think everyone should listen to. Their album 69 songs is called. It's actually 69 songs. It's a 3-disc thing.
Sick.
Most of those songs are absolutely just incredible. I love bands where everybody sings, like whoever the actual singer is trades off, and like a band like the Magnetic Fields, who have both male and female singers. So the vocal range is just so completely different. You can just do so many different types of songs with, those people. Their Tiny Desk concert is really good and worth listening to. So yeah, taking the Magnetic Fields.
That's sick. That's a good one. And another one that I've heard in your car quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Yep. There's probably 100 Magnetic Field songs that I would say to listen to.
Okay. This is we're gonna go with a more recent band on my list. The first time I remember hearing them was actually in the soundtrack as a needle drop in Breaking Bad. But they've been around a long time. They've got a few fantastic albums out. I would like TV on the Radio, please.
Am I wrong, or did they not have the opening song in Spider-Man: Brand New Day?
100% they did.
I thought they did, yeah.
They also had a fantastic needle drop in this last season of Daredevil in the first episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
fantastic. And then the one in Breaking Bad is incredible too. Mm-hmm. And that Dear Science, I think, is the album that Staring at the Sun comes from, which is the one in the Daredevil season 2, episode 1. But the production work on it is incredible. I don't know how they're able to produce all of the sounds in tandem with each other. It's just like butter. But yeah, I think as I get older, I've really tried to appreciate the whys of why I like music, and that's a band that the technical aspects just blow me away. So
yeah, that is completely fair. I would nominate the Spider-Man needle drop. I think at the Just Mashies this year it was a great usage. Well done. Okay, so my next group, I'll say, A Tribe Called Quest. One of my favorite groups. Their album, I always fuck it up because it's so long. It's let me look it up actually, because I don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, that's a good.
It's like call. People's Travels and Paths of Rhythm.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great okay, People's Instinctive Travels and the Paths of Rhythm. There we go. Yeah. But it's got, I Live by Walden Ale Scundo, which is one of my favorite songs. Can I Kick It was I want to say 23. They used it in that Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, yeah.
It gets used in so many commercials and trailers now for some reason. It's also a sample of Walk on the Wild Side, which is a Lou Reed song, who is the lead singer of the Velvet Underground. So many different Tribe Called Quest songs that are just amazing. Jazz, World Tour. Tribe Called Quest is number 10. Wow, we're already on number 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I need a little bit. I'm trying to cover all my bases, cover a few different genres here. And country music is something that I never really liked growing up, outside of a handful of maybe very specific artists. But we got to take the king, the Man in Black. Let's go, Johnny Cash.
My number 16. Unfortunately,
I think the Folsom Prison Blues album is just such a feat of live performance, and I love the story behind it. And obviously, Folsom Prison Blues, the titular song is incredible, and the live performance is the best one. Any other recording I listen to is just not nearly as interesting to me. But Rusty Cage, obviously one of my favorites. Hurt, which is a cover, is incredible. He's got a great cover of Personal Jesus.
He did his last 3 albums were all albums where every song was a cover.
Oh, insane.
That's where Hurt comes from. It Ain't Me, Babe is the Dylan cover that he does with his wife, June Carter Cash. And then he also covers, actually Sunday Morning Coming Down. I don't know that that's a cover, but that's on that. Sunday Morning Coming Down is my favorite Cash song. And then he's got a song called Delia's Gone that's really good. Boy Named Sue is like, classic Johnny Cash. Truly one of the greatest. And he seemed like a good dude too, which is important. But I always love his collabs with Bob Dylan because they're so different, but they work so well together. It was like peanut butter and chocolate. Like everything about the stuff they would make together. The Girl from the North Country duo song used perfectly in Silver Linings Playbook. Big Johnny Cash guy. Now I've got to I got to get strategic here.
Oh no.
I guess we'll go with Beach Boys, band that I like a lot. Pet Sounds is truly one of the greatest songs of all time. Brian Wilson is one of the most underrated, I think, musical minds that we've ever had. But Pet Sounds specifically is like, it's that escalation of like California Girls and Kokomo and that sort of Beach Boy stuff to like, That's Not Me and I'm Waiting for the Day and like songs like that were just way more complex and way more emotional than Let's Grab a Surfboard and Hit the Water.
Yeah.
Beach Boys are great. They've actually got a lot of good, like bootleg tracks, like, recording studio stuff that wasn't officially released. And their acapella stuff is obviously incredible. I mean, few groups can harmonize the way that the Beach Boys could.
Like you could hear a half a second of them singing out of context and you would know exactly who you're listening to.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know Mike Love is a huge piece of shit. So maybe we take the Beach Boys without him, but
this is our game. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Favorite Beach Boys song is Sloop John B. That's my number 1. So Beach Boys.
Okay. We're going to go with another group here. This is one that I would need to explore a little bit more. Obviously they are huge, but Led Zeppelin is a band that I've gotten to know as I've gotten older. When the Levee Breaks is my head and shoulders favorite song of theirs. And I think it's from Zeppelin 4, but it's a cover, I think, or like a read. It doesn't sound as similar to the original as a normal cover would, but it's like 8 minutes long. There's some absolutely rocking harmonica in it, which I love. But obviously all of their other stuff too, Black Dog and you have to fill in some of the
Stairway to Heaven is like,
oh, of course, yeah,
quintessential Get the Lead Out. For me, What Is and What Should Never Be is like,
yes,
Head and Shoulders my favorite Zeppelin song. Crazily enough, the third mention, Silver Linings Playbook, that song is used excellently in that film where Bradley Cooper's having like a mental episode. Phenomenal scene, phenomenal song. They also have an instrumental song called Blue Mountain Side, I think. So good. That's another one of my favorite songs. It's completely instrumental. It's worth listening to if you've not heard it. But yeah, Led Zeppelin, they were 27 on my list.
And one of my favorite band names ever. I think that's sick.
Yeah, they definitely earned that. Okay, so number 12 feels like we're flying through these. Um, number
It
12,
does, yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Pixies,
Ooh,
who Doolittle, I think, is one of the greatest albums of all time. Most famously, Where Is My Mind is used in Fight Club. It's also Orange Cassidy's theme song. My favorite Pixie song is Hey, which is in Zack and Miri Make a Porno. It's also in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. One of my favorite songs of all time. Also a long song. I'm a long song guy. I've got a playlist of like 7+ minute songs that
it's
I
a lost
really
art.
dig. It is, yeah, to be able to be that engaging. And like all of the bands that I love have songs like that. Like Oh Sweet Nothing, like I said, for the Velvet Underground, that's 7 minutes. What Is and What Should Never Be, I want to say that's like pushing 6. Hey is 6 to 7 for Pixies. Debaser is another classic Pixie song. They've just got so many. And they are coming to Louisville in September, and I want to go see them.
Oh,
So
that's sick.
they're playing
Yeah,
where
I'm
we
curious what
graduated high school at, actually.
Oh, that's a great, yeah.
So
Okay, we're gonna go. Yeah, I think this is a very recent band for me for my next one. They have mastered the art of the long song. Um, the army that follows them as their fan base will know Tool as my next pick. They have the album's called Anima. It's one of those like diphthong vowels where it's the A and the E meshed together.
mhm. It's like
It's a great
a
album.
yeah,
Yeah, like
like
it's
encyclopedia.
exactly, yeah. But they
That's how
have a
it
song
says it.
called Push It on that album that's 10 minutes long, and it has some of the most gnarly guitar riffs that I've ever listened to. And I've told you before, if I was a wrestler,
Hmm.
Push It would be my walkout song because that's the exact mindset that it puts me in, and that whole album is fantastic and it's so weird
Yeah.
and wonderful. But yeah, I think they belong here with me. And I think they're going to be at Louder Than Life this year, which is a festival in Louisville. So
I am pretty unfamiliar with Tool. Obviously, I know who Tool is, but I don't know any Tool song. Well, but to be fair, I don't know the names of any Tool song. Maybe if I heard one, I would say, "Oh, I know this song." But
right,
not off the top of my head.
more homework.
Yeah, exactly. So my next pick. This is a band that I discovered in 2014 because they would make like wrestling themed albums. In Colt Cabana's podcast, The Art of Wrestling, he would play their music. The band is the Mountain Goats, but
Oh,
they had an album about Chavo Guerrero Sr., which is hilarious. And they've had a few wrestling themed albums. John Darnielle, I think, is the lead singer. One of my favorite bands. They caught on huge a couple years ago with No Children, because that song became like a TikTok song, like a song that people use in their TikToks. My favorite song by them, I can never think of what it's called. It's on their very first album. It's like Sendero something something something. I guess I could look it up.
huh.
I'm so bad with song
Yeah,
names, and because
I
I just
I
don't ever,
yeah,
I just don't ever pay
I
attention
very
to it.
much get it. Yeah, because if you're
Um,
not looking at it, you're driving or doing other stuff.
yeah,
It's
but
very easy to miss.
this year is another one of their huge songs. Damn These Vampires. Oh, it's Sendero Luminoso Verdadero is what it's called. I had no
Interesting.
clue that was what that was called. Uh, but yeah, they're a great band. I love their stuff. They put out an album in 2024 that was really good. The Mess Inside, Color in Your Cheeks, Jenny, Training Montage, Woke Up New, Clean Slate. There's so many incredible Mountain Goats songs. And I think they're one of those bands where it's like not all of their stuff is for everybody, but I think some of their stuff is for everybody. Like I really
Yeah,
think that everybody could take a Mountain Goat song that they like a lot. So
which is I love those kind of bands because that I think really cuts to the humanity of it all.
mhm.
Because they've got some through line that just makes sense. Okay, we're gonna go with on more recent artist kick again. This dude is relatively new to the scene. His name's Joe P. I found him on TikTok. He has a very, very interesting indie rock perspective, and he's got 2 studio albums out. They're both incredible. I love the clips of the behind the scenes and snippets that he posts on the internet. I think it's so fascinating. For those that know him or don't, Shadow in the Sun is fantastic. These are songs. Birthday Baby is incredible. Fighting in the Car. And he's got a full album on top of those that he did like an acoustic / stripped down version of the hits.
I love
which is
when
incredible
artists
too.
do that. I love acoustic songs way more. So anytime
Same.
they do that, I get all over it.
But he's fantastic. I can't wait to see what he does next. I think he's gearing up for another studio album soon, which I'm very much anticipating. But he's an incredible lyricist, and the tunings that he plays in and his guitar are always really fascinating to me, like drop D or drop C. But yeah, I'm excited to have him.
Next pick, this is a band that I got into in like 2015, 2016, around there. My favorite song from them is Jesus, etc. It's Wilco. I think one of the coolest bands, one of the best like rock bands of the 2000s and on. Their album, what is it, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot? It's got the 2 buildings in Chicago. It's a great album. That's where that song comes from. There's a documentary about them in the creation of that album called I Am Trying to Break Your Heart, which is another one of my favorite songs of theirs. One Sunday Morning is like an 8-minute song of theirs that I love. Spiders is another like 8-minute song of theirs that I love. They have a song on the SpongeBob movie soundtrack called Just a Kid.
Oh,
The SpongeBob movie soundtrack is flawless. Genuinely an incredible soundtrack, and they get so many great artists on it. But Wilco's song Just a Kid is like one of the best songs ever made for a kids movie. It's so good. And they have kids sing the background vocals in it. God. Wilco,
they made magic there.
Yeah, Wilco's a great band. I would love to see them live one day, but yeah, give me Wilco.
Okay. This is a band that you and I both like. We discovered them at the same time in a rather unique way. I think you know by this point maybe who I'm about to guess. They unfortunately had to change their name due to some stupid lawsuit, but Hard Life is who I'm taking. That's their current name, formerly known as Easy Life. They're a British like rap, pop, rock band.
They're everything.
They're everything. Pockets is incredible. Beach. I'm gonna have to look up some of their songs.
Well, one of their songs was called Hard Life, I want to say.
Yes, which was very good.
They had a song this year that was really good. Let me see if I can find what it's called. But
they had one album come out called like The Onion or something or just Onion that was incredible.
Tears is the new one that I like a lot. Ocean View, Daydreams, Nightmares, Pockets. Yeah.
Daydreams and Nightmares are dude. They have so many great singles, and they had some like Fortnite crossover years ago that when we still
played Fortnite.
When we still played, yes.
Essentially, it was one of those things where it was like, get free XP if you play this mode. And the mode was you sit in this Easy Life. It was like a cinematic adventure where you sit and it's like a listening party to their album, but you like did stuff while you were listening. And we were like, this is going to be fucking stupid. Why would we ever listen to music that Fortnite would force on us? We just want the XP because we were losers. And then we were like, holy shit, this kind of fucking rocks.
It was awesome.
They won us over pretty quick. And by the end of it, we were like, that was dope. That was like really fucking good music.
So much so that I like last year, because they're such a summer band to me too, because partially because of their vibe, but also when we watched that, it was like July of that, whatever year that was, 2021, 2022. Mm-hmm. But I went back and watched the someone had recorded that on YouTube because you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see all of the visuals again, so I had to go back and watch them. But they're incredible. They're again, their voice is so specific to them, and yeah, I will probably be listening to them more as the summer continues.
Yeah, great summer band. Truly one of those that match of the vibe of the season. You don't want to listen to them during Christmas, you know, like it's definitely July music. So many songs I have tied directly to movies. It's the first time that I heard them. And a lot of those songs that I end up loving the bands of is because I listened to those songs a million times because I watched those movies a million times. An example of that being Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which has the song Get Me Away From Here, I'm Dying by Belle and Sebastian, who is the next pick. They've got they've got tons of albums. So they've got incredible albums, Dear Catastrophe Waitress and If You're Feeling Sinister, which is a great song, but I also just love that title. There's some songs that like the song's not that good, but just what it's called is like perfect. I would love to make a film called If You're Feeling Sinister.
Yeah,
it's such a cool idea. I'm a Cuckoo is one of my favorite songs of theirs. Get Me Away From Here, I'm Dying is number one. Piazza New York Catcher is a great song. There's so many good ones. I think they're such a vibes band. Very emotional, kind of romantic. Also quirky, like weird mid-2000s indie type music.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, but I remember one time, to be honest with you, I don't even know what I was reading, but I was reading some article that was talking about music, and Belle and Sebastian came up, and they said, like, that's the band that you listen to over your headphones when you're in line at CVS to get your Zoloft prescription. I was like,
wow.
Wow. Like, been there, done that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Belle and Sebastian, my number 15.
Damn. I love it. Okay. Yeah. So for my 15, we're going to go back into the country atmosphere for a little bit. And again, I like, this is a newer journey for me into the country world.
Oh, you're taking a journey?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Don't put that on me.
You want Journey, right? I should go ahead and write that down.
If I had the Sopranos or whatever, maybe. But to me, what country music should be about is like genuine struggle and the sort of darker elements of the themes that it purports to have. And modern country obviously has strayed so far away from that. Someone that I think is doing a fantastic job with those themes is Colter Wall. I don't know if you've heard any of his music outside of maybe it being on My Car.
Not that I know of.
He does like the sort of darker Appalachian country. He's got a great song called The Devil Wears a Suit and Tie. Fraulein is another great one. Sleeping on the Blacktop is the first one that I heard. It's probably his most popular. But he tells ballads in those stories, and that's always something I'm going to enjoy. Is a very clear storyline and progression through those. And I would love to use his stuff in movies. And we've talked a lot about, you know, the coupling of those two things of music and film, but I can't hear his stuff and not see scenes in my head of how I would use them.
Totally fair. Continuing the movies and music train here. Neil Young is one of my favorites, someone that I absolutely have to draft. One of my favorite scenes in cinema history is Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice. The song Journey Through the Past plays is Joaquin Phoenix and Catherine Waterston they're like running in the rain and it's a miserable day, but the song is so happy. And then it's like match cut with a beautiful day, but the main character is miserable in the same location. And it's just done so well. Journey Through the Past is one of my favorites. Harvest is another Neil Young song that is maybe my favorite. That and Harvest Moon, which I've always said if I were to ever get married, Harvest Moon would be the song that played at my wedding. And then I watched the film Eat, Pray, Love for the Just Match Film Challenge, and it plays at that character's wedding. So I thought, well, maybe we'll have to rethink that one a little bit.
Man, that's good.
But Neil Young's one of the GOATs. Alabama is another great song by him. Also, Buffalo Springfield For What It's Worth, and what is it, Mr. Soul? He was in Buffalo Springfield. He's also the band Crosby, Stills and Nash. For a while, they were Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, where he was a part of that. So Neil Young, one of my favorites. Keep on rocking in the free world. Let's go, Mr. Young.
Okay. We're gonna go with someone that I think has a really fascinating music career. She also has done some music that we've heard in film. When Fiona Apple is my next pick, I think her voice is one of my favorite voices of all of music. I think it's so, I like how deep it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it lends it really well to the themes that she likes to use. But she did a song, she did a cover of Across the Universe for Pleasantville. If you remember that, when we watched that for the Just Smash Film Challenge, that's really good.
Didn't she do one for Magnolia?
I think. Oh, did she do one? Maybe, or was that somebody else? She might have.
I don't know. I know she did. I thought she did a Beatles cover for Magnolia, but I don't know.
We'll have to look that up after that. Yeah. But Criminal, obviously very good. Paper Bag is incredible.
I Want You to Love Me that's probably my favorite song of hers.
Title is just awesome as a whole. The album is great. But yeah, she's so cool and like effortlessly at the same time. But yeah, we're thrilled.
I'm going to take the band that every white woman in the world loves, and rightfully so, Fleetwood Mac. Classic band. I mean, one of the best. Landslide, if we're being realistic, is probably one of the top 10 songs ever made. I mean, it's that good. Personal favorites, I Don't Want to Know. There's an SNL skit with Paul Rudd and that song that makes me laugh, and it probably shouldn't, but I think it's so funny. Jewel-Eyed Judy is probably my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. Yeah, they've got such an interesting lore and history to them. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac is my number 17. So I've got 3 left and you've got 4 left.
Okay. Man. Yeah. So you had a specific demographic for your last band. I have a very specific demographic for my next band. And that is any man between the ages of 35 and 60. And that belongs to AC/DC.
Oh,
they
have
such an incredible catalog of guitar riffs that I love. I'm sorry, they're fun to play, they're fun to listen to, they're fun to put into movies. I think they're one of the most iconic rock bands of that time. But Angus Young, incredible. I think like obviously Back in Black and Thunderstruck, Hell's Bells, I think is them too. They truly iconic, and I just straight up love anything that puts an AC/DC song in it. I just can't help myself. So it just makes sense that they belong to me.
Yeah, I'm not an AC/DC fan, but you know the song Big Balls?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm a fan of that song.
It's awesome.
I do like that song. That was
awesome.
The ECW wrestler Balls Mahoney. I think he would use that as his theme song. But
incredible.
Yeah, Big Balls. We've all got them sometimes.
Yeah.
So my next pick, this artist I got way into. This would have been the end of freshman year of high school, which for the ruffians out there, this would have been the beginning of 2013 with the album Indicud. So Kid Cudi is my pick. Obviously, The Man on the Moon stuff is incredible, but Indicud is where I fell in love with his stuff. And then Satellite Flight, the EP that he put out shortly thereafter, probably 2014-ish. I think that film could be the soundtrack to a sci-fi animated space exploration film. Like it's just blow away. Up and Away is one of my favorite Cudi songs. Ghost, Soundtrack to My Life, Mr. Rager, Pursuit of Happiness, Trapped in My Mind, even Speeding Bullet to Heaven, which everybody like despises. There's a lot of stuff I dig on Speeding Bullet to Heaven. Not all of it. But I do love the Beavis and Butthead skits that are on that album because he actually got Mike
That's
Judge
funny.
to do them, which is like sick. They're like in between each song, you hear commentary from Beavis and Butthead.
Man.
So, Kid Cudi, you join the ranks of Just Josh Productions.
I love it. Okay, let's go with a Kentucky originating band for this one. I think it's Bowling Green that they came from. Anyway, Cage the Elephant is my next pick. I love their style. All of their albums feel so different from one another. Obviously, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked is their most recognizable, probably. But Cigarette Daydreams is incredible.
That's my favorite of theirs.
They have a great
Spiderhead.
Gold. They have a great golden brown cover that's fantastic. But I love the lead singer, and I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. Lead singer.
Halo's another good song.
Matt Schultz. Yeah, that's a great one. But yeah, I just, and another one that I see like I see scenes in my head when I listen to their stuff. Yeah, they're from Bowling Green. Double check that for sure.
All right. I always say, I said it to you before we started, music taste is a 70-year-old man or a 16-year-old girl.
Indeed.
So because of that, my number 19 pick is going to be Beach Bunny, an artist that probably around 2022, I fell in love with her song Painkiller. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. But recently, over the past year and a half, I've gone really, really deep into her stuff. Boys, Sports, Prom Queen, Cloud Nine, so many different Beach Bunny songs that I think are awesome. And I probably am not the target demographic, but I do not care. I like it anyway. And
Hell yeah.
I always will. So
I love
Beach Bunny.
Oh man. Now we're really, I have two left?
You've got two left and I've got one left, and I've got some tough choices to make.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. Okay, we gotta go for a big one. My parents would be upset at me if I didn't pick the Eagles, so we are going to on this one. Obviously, Hotel California is probably one of the top 25 greatest songs ever written.
Mm-hmm. Another long song.
It's a ballad. It's a story, and a really fascinating one at that. But their journey that they went on, I just love all of the band members and how they were able to do what they did for so long. But
yeah, it's one of the few bands where the drummer was the lead singer with Don Henley.
Yeah.
And, Glenn Frey was the guitarist. Joe Walsh joined the band at a certain point.
Joe Walsh is a genius too. He's incredible guitarist.
Yeah, for sure. There's an incredible, humongous documentary, The History of the Eagles Part 1 and 2, that is just phenomenal. And they have a concert film. I don't know what it's called, but it's the Eagles at Washington, D.C. It's on YouTube. It's like 45 minutes. It's so good. Hotel California, Lion Eyes, Take Me to the Limit. I mean, the Eagles, the Big Lebowski hates the Eagles, but I certainly don't.
Oh, man. That's so true.
Oh, man. This is tough because there's at least 4 that I'm like, I need on this list, but I only have room for 1.
Uno mas, as they say.
It's tough. Man. Okay. An out there pick. Someone that I don't think too many people know, but the people that know him are like, he's got a real big cult following. Daniel Johnston.
Oh.
One of my favorites. Hi, How Are You is one of the greatest albums ever. The creature is like a very iconic design. He meant a lot to counterculture in the 90s. True Love Will Find You in the End is one of the greatest songs of all time. Some Things Last a Long Time. Bloody Rainbow, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Walking the Cow is one of my favorites. My favorite song is A Story of an Artist, which I think would be perfect to use in a film. It's something I would love to do one day. Super sensitive dude. He had, tons of different issues, and I think it really, really bleeds into his work and shines into it in such a fascinating way. Funeral Home is like such an intense song, but there's a documentary called The Devil and Daniel Johnston that is really worth watching if you like music documentaries. It's impossible to find. I mean, I had to pirate a site to get to it. Like, it was super insane to even find it, but it is a phenomenal music documentary, and he's really insightful and interesting person. So Daniel Johnston is my number 20.
I love that. Yeah. And I remember you talking about that documentary, which is really unfortunate how hard it is to find.
Yeah, it's tough. At least it was tough 5 years ago. Who knows, now if it is or not, but.
All right. I think, yeah. So this is a band that I heard for the first time playing a game called Rocksmith, which was the sort of companion. They weren't made by the same company or anything, but it's Guitar Hero, but you plug an actual guitar into it that I had when I was first learning how to play. And you could literally learn the songs using the sort of Guitar Hero rhythm gaming method. But Queens of the Stone Age had a bunch of songs on there. And ever since then, I've always kept them in my rotation because they kick so much ass. I mean, Songs for the Deaf, one of the greatest albums of all time. If you ain't got a dollar, you got a dime. If you ain't got a dollar, you give me a dime. One of the most incredible.
I ain't got either, brother.
But Go with the Flow, No One Knows. Those are two of their more recognizable songs. But that obviously, and I love the name of the band and the name of that album, Songs for the Deaf. That's how loud it is. But
yeah,
great number 20 to have on here.
I don't know that I know any Queens. Let me look and see if I've got any Queens of the Stone Age.
They're definitely worth exploring if you don't.
I do not.
All right.
Don't recognize any of these songs, so maybe that is what my night will consist of.
I encourage it.
This is a crazy episode, crazy list, one of our longer episodes, which is so funny because there was so little crossover.
I know.
I have more than 20 names written down that I didn't draft because I didn't think of Paul and George when we started, so I had to add those in. So I've got 22 names here that I didn't take. So there's definitely room to do more of this. How do you feel about yours?
It's a crazy list when I'm looking, and I told you this when we started. Like, my list felt very unhinged. This is kind of all over the place, but it's a great mosaic of my interest over time. Some of it's more recent, some of it's lasted a bit longer. But how do you feel about yours?
Pretty great. I mean, I was raised on the Beatles. I only listened to the Beatles for several years. It wasn't until I was probably, like 12 that I actually started listening to other stuff. And the other stuff that I started listening to is like rappers that are problematic now that I wouldn't draft for money. So that's unfortunate. So really my musical awakening is what I would call it happened junior year of high school into senior year. That was when I discovered Bob Dylan in a meaningful way. I had known like a Rolling Stone and that sort of stuff. But junior year was when I really did a deep dive into Dylan. And then senior year, it was The Clash and the Ramones and the Velvet Underground and Nirvana and a bunch of these bands and Queen, who we didn't draft. And then getting into college, it was Wilco and it was Belle and Sebastian and, throughout the pandemic, Talking Heads and the Beach Bunny recently. There's a bunch of different bands and artists that I love that I do think this is the most representative 20, that a list could get for me. So I'm pretty happy with what I got here. There's nothing that I would really change about it. So yeah, I think we did a good job.
Hell yeah.
This was a good episode.
This was fun.
But yeah, this is a great episode. Rough Draft 6, music. Once again, if you're a ruffian, leave it in the comments. If you're a draft dodger, you don't want to be a draft dodger. Let's be serious here. undodge the draft and leave a comment. Next week, I don't know what the episode will be. We might dip our toes into Actors 2 or Actresses 2, Franchises 2. We're not sure. We're rapidly approaching the trades episode and then the pitches episode. It is on the way. But with that being said, I've been Josh from Just Josh Productions.
And I have been Matthew from Just Matthew Productions.
And we will see you next time.